everyone, this is Spectrum V2. Today I just thought I'd show you all some behind the scenes for the Wild Colors pilot, and I think I would start by showing the storyboard. This video isn't going to be very well edited, and I apologize in advance. This is kind of just a small thing I wanted to do. Okay, so this is the beginning of the storyboard, as I'm sure you all can see. I left this little note because when I first started out drawing Lemmy, I kept forgetting to make his ear. I was a shitty drawer back then. I'd say I've improved quite a bit since the pilot's release. I mean, the quality is definitely a lot different. So yeah, as you can see, the pilot does follow around the same structure as the storyboards lined it out. This frame right here, this is how I wished it had turned out. It did not turn out this way because I was really new with Krita software, and I ended up making it so that Ari, the guy in this frame, his head, got cut off. So if you've ever seen the pilot, you'll know that it's kind of like this. It's not very well framed. I wish I could take back that shot, but I can't, and I don't really like the pilot anyway, so... Then we have Lemmy sitting in the car seat. Okay, this scene right here, in the final product, it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to draw because I was still really new to this. I hadn't drawn in years. Yeah, it was really embarrassing. Just it took me at least 30 minutes to draw that, and it was not the best quality either. It was all shaky. The colors were shit. Then we have the Lemmy enters the house. Ari slams the door closed. And then we get on to the rest of it. Here's the iconic line. Hello? Anybody here? I'm not sure where I am. And there's, if you were ever wondering why this can fell down the pilot, you could probably pause it, in the pilot and see what it was. It was indeed slip, moving past really fast and knocking over the can. I want to give a mystery aura to the whole house. This is inspired by somewhere I have seen before. A lot of times when I'm drawing the interiors of houses, I'll look towards actual houses I've been inside, and I'll draw based on the reference. This is one of those cases. I did draw this from a house I have been inside, because it reminded me of just uncomfortableness, that, when you light a scented candle and it smells like crap, I don't know. It just kind of throws off the energy a little. It sounds really weird to say out loud, I don't know. Why did I say energy? That's kind of weird. Yeah, the title of this one is Yoink. It has always been called Yoink. In the files, it is called Yoink too. And you can see that the can is not labeled. I did not mention this earlier, but it wasn't labeled because I didn't know what I wanted to put on it. I just wanted a can to be there. Okay, then we have Tang's first appearance, and oh my god. Yeah, as you can tell, his proportions look like shit. He looks like he's being stretched, he likes being stretched. It's not in that sense. Mags would know, at least. You're a scrawny guy. I thought Slip was small. And then we get to see Lemmy hanging down from the ceiling. This is one of my favorite shots in the pilot, simply because I just like upside down Lemmy. It's just kind of funny. I don't really know. Then Violet shows up, and good lord, she's also being stretched, but not in a good way. And now in the storyboard, Tang was originally supposed to turn towards Violet, but in the pilot he doesn't. He just stays sitting forward. I wanted to go through with that because A, I hated how this looked, and B, I was kind of tired that day. So I just figured I'd do a little shortcut and just, I just really like how it turned out in the end. It looked a lot better than this monstrosity. Then we have, the arrival of Slip. Ray comes down the stairs, then yells at him. And oh my god, when I first drew Ray, I was shit at drawing her head. I still kind of am. It was kind of a struggle because I refused to follow a very simple trick that would have saved me a lot of pain in the ass. Basically, I would always draw it perfectly. There was no overlap of the lines, which was a huge mistake because it made perspective look terrible, and the lines just it makes it look like a reverse Pac-Man, like a really really fucked up Pac-Man. Okay, so then Tang releases Lemmy. Lemmy gets up. We're going to see a lot of terrible Ray head shapes. This is probably the best one I've drawn in the entire storyboard. Okay, Lemmy looks down at the ground. Yeah, this frames stay mostly the same. This is also one of my favorite frames in the pilot, simply because I just love drawing Violet and Slip as silly together. They're best friends. Shame I didn't put them together. So then we see Ray. She's contemplating life, going through her thoughts. Lord knows what's in there. Not now, Tang. Lemmy likes his name that Tang picked for him. Then we see Ray sitting down. Lemmy nods like a depressed little MF because, you know, if you were, like, dropped in the middle of nowhere all of a sudden, like you were just born, I think you would be very confused, too. Then Ray gets up, says to get him unconfused. Originally, I think this frame changed a little bit. I don't remember specifically. I haven't watched the pilot in a while. I probably should. But yeah, basically, most of this stays the same. Oh my god. Yeah, the fences look so fucked up in the pilot. I apologize severely for that. Like, they look terrible. Okay, so, yeah, let me race this outside impatiently. Okay, he gets stuck. As you can see, if you've been paying attention to the video, I sometimes put really stupid captions underneath the frames, like Lemmy gets a little stuck. Then there's Lemmy's visibly struggling. Ray rolls her eyes, which is one of my favorite storyboard panels of all time. Ray nudges the fence open. And they start walking, you know? Start walking, and why is her head so big? God. Okay, I do not like this frame at all. It looks so much better in the pilot. I apologize to anyone who had to witness this abomination of scales and monstrosity. Yeah, man. Today I would have drawn it so that there's like a line moving down here so it looks like she's facing forward, but I didn't know anything about perspective, so we're moving on. Okay, we're back at the house. There's Tang. Where the heck is Larry? There's Violet and Slippy and little autistic people in the background. Larry, my goat, shows up in the background for the first time. Hooray! So yeah, he shows up, walks over to Tang. Oh, where is he? Went on orientation, blah, blah, blah. This part, okay, apart from size changes, which happen a lot in the storyboards, because, you know, I suck at drawing them, usually I'll just leave, like, oh my god, the noses, look at them. Look at those round dots of monstrosity. Just look at them. This is, ugh, it makes me sick to look at them, genuinely. Okay, the slip appears behind Tang's horn. Their size has changed quite a bit. Like, genuinely, it's pretty, I wish I could streamline a little more, but it's kind of hard. Because Slip is really tiny compared to everyone else. Okay, then we have the other frames, which are kind of the exact same as they were. Then there's the awkward silence. Anyone want to play cards? And then we arrive at Albert's. My goat. First test. Oh yeah, the billboard. I actually did not include the billboard in the final product, but you can actually see an advertisement for Harpywell Zoo with your boy Jeff on the front cover. He does not like getting woken up for advertisements. Nobody in the zoo does. It kind of sucks ass. The zoo sucks ass. Everything about it sucks. So yeah, go inside up there. Basically, Ray gets ticked. Okay, so yeah, Lemmy was originally just gonna be standing like this. I thought it would be funnier though if like he was just poking his head in. It also seemed more in character because I don't think he would just stand there like he was ready to take it on. He'd be more like, oh shoot, I don't want to go in there immediately. There's Albert. I think he used to have a beard. I don't know. As you can see, the background joke, if anyone noticed it in the pilot, is still there. He tries to get the candy bar, spills over a bottle of acid. Okay, I'm just kidding, it's water, but to the colors, water feels like acid. It literally dissolves them. I feel like I'm trying to imply that a lot in the story. I don't know if it's being implied to everyone, but yeah, I hope it is. Okay, so Albert wakes up after Lemmy starts crashing. Ugh, he doesn't have a nose. It's scary. Who's there? Lemmy wobbles over. Oh, it's one of you guys. The scene is pretty much the same as it was in the original pilot, I would argue. There was not a whole lot that I wanted to change about it. I mean, if I could change and go back now, I would give Oliver a nose because it's scaring me. Then we get to see Ray happy for a moment. And yeah, Lemmy cocks an eyebrow. Pokes Lemmy. Yeah, the tail was a lot longer in the pilot, like cartoonishly. I did not mean for that to happen. That was a complete accident. Yeah, we'll talk on the way. Back to the house. Yeah, you can still see that it's a 5 card in the pilot. You know, I didn't change the number. I think I just changed how the card looked. I don't really remember. I'll have to go back and watch it. I have a bad memory, if you couldn't tell. Your heart to give it away. Lore. Hey, you say that in my heart? That's private information. It's impossible to. Yeah. So I know the whole heartbeat thing and Violet acting a little scary is probably making people confused. Yeah, she does have powers. I should probably mention that. It's not like a huge spoiler. It's heavily implied throughout the entire series that, she can do things that are past the human capability. Yeah, so when you hear this clip in this particular panel, if you couldn't tell, that audio was heavily edited, but there wasn't originally going to be a video of background fire in this. But at the time, I had been reflecting on my past of watching The Amazing World of Gumball, and I thought, how funny would it be if, we threw in an actual live-action footage of fire in the background. So I thought I'd do that. And yeah. Then Tang storms off, gets angry and stuff. Violet calls out Larry for being a gay boy. Or, well, not for long. Then they show up at ACC. Wow, this is a big house. Yeah, Pervert Housing Cats. Alley Cat Corporation. Blah, blah, blah. We get introduced to your girl, Mags. Ray, is that really you? Yes, it is, Mags. It is indeed Ray. You're not gonna wish it wasn't Ray in a minute, though, because then you're gonna get yelled at. So yeah, basically, this is about the same. The cat's, the legs in the sitting positions. I apologize for anyone who had to watch the pilot, to the over 200 people who watched it, and had to look at these terrible, terrifying legs, because they look horrible. I hate them, and I wish I could go back and fix them, but I can't. Pilot's published. My art has, improved significantly. Okay. There was originally going to be a little background cat. I don't know if he made it into the final cut. I think he did. I'm not sure. But there were going to be a lot more background cats in the storyboard, but I just figured but I didn't really want to draw all that. It just didn't really make sense. But yeah, basically this scene stays pretty true to the original. Okay, so I should probably do some explaining here. The pilot was the longest episode to make by far, which was 6 months, because it was the very beginning, I barely knew any of the people on the voice casting, which, by the way, I will say now are some of the nicest people I've ever met, and they're my friends, and I would say that I love them in a platonic sense, don't get freaky and stuff, that's weird. But yeah, I do love all the people who've come together to help me with this project and support me, and I've also just been very glad to meet the people who I met. I'm very happy to be where I am right now, and I want to just take a moment to thank you all for that. But that's not what I was going to talk about, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd say that. So Mag's voice actor, Dennis the Me, as you will know her, when we were originally recording lines, and this applies for a lot of episode 1 actually, we had a lot of trouble recording the voice lines, because unlike our future episodes that we recorded for, the pilot's lines were all recorded while we were all on call at the same time, both the table read and the actual lines themselves, which was a huge mistake, because a lot of them ended up having to be redone or were just completely missing, because we were all making each other laugh so hard that we kept forgetting whose lines were whose. So this was one of the lines that Mags, his voice actor, forgot, and it's the I'll Go Get Ty one. And now this entire section right here, from this panel to these 3 panels, got completely cut because Ty's voice actor, Susie, forgot a line. Or no, Lemmy and sorry, I messed that up. I mean, we all forgot lines. But I was missing the lines completely for these 3 panels. I don't know why. I was just missing them. I genuinely do not know why they were missing. But yeah, then Ty comes barreling down the stairs. He looks like Bendy in the ink machine here. A little, not really. And whoops. Ty gets off of Ray, starts chatting. I don't know if this spray made in the final product, because, as I said, we forgot a lot of lines. I apologize in advance. Oh, you're the new guy. They had their lovely little conversation. I always keep forgetting oh, shoot. Yeah, I forgot to use that piece of paper and I just drew on it. You didn't see that. Okay, so Mags and Ray have their little reconciliation and stuff. They meet up at the Bower, because cats can't spell. Larry's the only wild color here who can read. Just thought I'd point that out. Violet goes cray. WTF, Slip and Tang, sit on a bed. I'm not childish. Tang, we all, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just the typical argument. Now, Tang, was supposed to move a lot more in this scene, but I decided not to. Because we were nearing the home stretch, I just didn't really see a need to. So I just ended up here like this. Now, before we move on to the rest of the storyboards, I actually have a little height chart for you all. So basically, when I was starting out, I wanted to make a height chart, so I made sure I didn't screw things up. As you can tell, the characters were not drawn very well. I was kind of rushing this. So yeah, they're all around the height of 3 feet. Violet's probably the tallest because she can stretch infinitely for some reason. Slip's the smallest. And originally in the pilot, and episode 2, if you'll notice, he had to be drawn in a different type of line, which I made a note of in crayon, I think. Then there's the cats, and there's him. Yeah, I had concept art for him back when we were starting this. Anyways, you will not get to hear about him because he's not in this episode. Okay, or is he? I mean, technically he, I don't know. That's open to interpretation. So let's bounce forward. Let me get through this. Oh, Ray's head, it looks like that Peter Griffin guy. What the hell's his name? Why were you gone for so long? And then she has a crash out. This is a scene that got cut because it didn't make sense. It wasn't necessary. So I just added the cat's reactions in the background of the final product. The legs still terrifying, but I made Mags a lot more hunched over in the final product. And her ears, oh, why are they so tiny? What the fuck? Okay, yeah, I was a terrible artist only a couple months ago. Ray keeps walking, drags Lemmy out, has her crash out moment. Okay, Lemmy follows her. Now, in the pilot, if you'll notice, there's like a brief flash of like Ray having, you know, being scared and all. And, you know, she hallucinates a little bit. I didn't actually put this in the storyboard, but I thought it would be a good idea to cut off Lemmy's sentence as he's trying to comfort her. Then Ray gets mad, spit in her anger, and the two of them get kidnapped by something with red eyes. And that's the end. And yeah, that's basically behind the scenes for episode 1 of Wild Colors, the pilot. If you guys want like an episode 2 behind the scenes, just let me know. I did this all non-stop without, you know, any real recording, and there's not going to be a whole lot of editing that goes into this, so I apologize if you don't like those kinds of videos. I just thought I'd make this for fun. And, you know, so I have something to look back on in case this notebook ever gets burned or destroyed, or I don't know, like I drop it in a river. I don't really know. Thank you all for tuning into this, and I hope you have an awesome day. And episode 4 will be releasing on